The Galactic Distress Call. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, a tapestry of civilizations flourished, connected by the threads of advanced technology and mutual understanding. The Galactic Council, a body of representatives from the most advanced species, had maintained peace for millennia. But now, an unprecedented threat loomed on the horizon, casting a shadow over the harmonious coexistence of countless worlds. Alara, the Arcturian representative to the Council, stood before the assembled delegates, her luminescent skin pulsing with urgency. "Esteemed colleagues," she began, her melodious voice tinged with worry, "we face a crisis unlike any in our recorded history." The chamber, usually filled with the soft hum of discussion, fell silent. Species from across the galaxy, the crystalline quartz, the gaseous nebulans, the photosynthetic chlorines, all turned their attention to Alara. "The Void Eaters have breached the outer defenses of the Pleiades cluster," she continued, activating a holographic display. The image showed a swarm of dark, writhing shapes devouring entire star systems. "Our most advanced weapons are ineffective. Our fastest ships cannot outrun them. If we do not find a solution soon, they will consume everything in their path." Murmurs of fear rippled through the assembly. The Void Eaters were a legend, a horror story told to frighten young beings. But now, the nightmare had become reality. Zach 7, the machine intelligence representing the cybernetic collective, spoke up. "We have analyzed all known defense strategies and weaponry. The probability of success against the Void Eaters with our current capabilities is 0.0000001%. Despair settled over the Council like a heavy shroud. Species that had evolved over millions of years, civilizations that had achieved wonders beyond imagination, now faced extinction. It was Grok, the elder of the fungoid symbiotes, who broke the silence. "There is one possibility we have not considered," he said, his voice a whisper that somehow carried to every corner of the chamber. "In the outermost spiral arm of our galaxy, there is a world we have long observed but never contacted. Its inhabitants are different from any we have encountered." The holographic display shifted, showing a blue-green planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star. "Earth. Humans," Grok continued, "are a young species, barely spacefaring. But they possess qualities that may be our salvation. They are adaptable, resilient, and most importantly, predatory." A collective gasp echoed through the chamber. The concept of a sentient predatory species was alien to most of the Council. Evolution had long since weeded out such aggressive traits in their societies. Alara's bioluminescence flickered with confusion. How could a primitive violent species help us against the Void Eaters? Grok's fungal cap pulsed thoughtfully. Throughout their history, humans have faced seemingly insurmountable challenges, yet they have always found a way to survive, to adapt, to overcome. They think in ways we cannot, see solutions where we see only problems. And, he paused, they have an affinity for combat that we lack. The Council erupted in debate. Some argued that involving such an unpredictable species was too risky. Others saw it as their only hope. As the discussion raged, Zach 7 ran countless simulations, its processors humming with activity. Probability of success with human involvement: 3.7%, the machine announced. While still low, it is significantly higher than any other option available to us. Alara raised her arms, calling for order. "We have no choice," she declared. "We must contact Earth and request their aid. But we must do so carefully. If the humans learn of the true extent of our technological advancement, it could alter their development irrevocably." And so, the Galactic Council made an unprecedented decision. They would reach out to Earth, not as advanced beings seeking to enlighten a primitive world, but as desperate souls in need of salvation. As the Council adjourned, Alara approached Grok. "Do you truly believe these humans can save us?" she asked. Grok's reply was somber. "I believe they are our last hope. But remember, Alara, hope is a double-edged sword. The very qualities that may save us from the Void Eaters may also change the face of our galactic society forever. We must be prepared for either outcome. As the delegates departed to prepare for humanity's introduction to the galactic stage, a sense of anticipation mixed with trepidation permeated the air. The fate of countless civilizations now rested on the shoulders of a species that still fought among themselves, a species that had yet to fully unite their own world. Little did the Council know that their call for help would awaken a sleeping giant, igniting a chain of events that would reshape the galaxy in ways they could never have imagined. The age of humanity was about to begin, for better or for worse. In the depths of space, the Void Eaters continued their relentless advance, oblivious to the desperate gamble the Galactic Council was taking. As they consumed world after world, a small blue planet spun quietly in its orbit, its inhabitants unaware that they were about to be thrust onto the greatest stage imaginable. The call had been made. Now all the galaxy could do was wait, and hope that humanity would answer. Humans, the unexpected saviors. The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday afternoon at SETI headquarters in California. At first, the scientists thought it was a glitch, an echo of some forgotten satellite transmission. But as they analyzed the signal, their excitement grew. This was no glitch. This was first contact. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the lead xenolinguist, worked tirelessly with her team to decipher the message. After weeks of intense work, they finally cracked the code. The contents of the message, however, were far from what anyone had expected. "They're asking for our help," Elena announced to the hastily assembled group of world leaders and scientific experts. "An advanced alien civilization is reaching out to us because they need our assistance." The room erupted in a cacophony of disbelief, excitement, and fear. How could a species capable of sending messages across the vast gulf of space need help from humans? As Elena explained the situation, the reality of their position began to sink in. The Galactic Council, an organization of advanced alien species, was facing an existential threat from an entity they called the Void Eaters, and for reasons they couldn't fully comprehend, they believed humans were their best hope for survival. "But why us?" asked the UN Secretary General, voicing the question on everyone's mind. Elena's response was measured. "They believe we possess unique qualities that make us suited to combat this threat. Specifically, they mention our adaptability, our resilience, and our—" She paused, choosing her words carefully, "our predatory nature." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity, long convinced of its insignificance in the cosmos, was being called upon to save the galaxy. It was simultaneously thrilling and terrifying. Over the next few months, preparations were made in secret. A team of Earth's best and brightest was assembled. Soldiers, scientists, engineers, and diplomats. Among them was Captain Jack Harper, a decorated Marine with a reputation for thinking outside the box. As the team trained and prepared, the Galactic Council sent more information about the threat they faced. The Void Eaters, they learned, were not a species in the traditional sense, but a cosmic anomaly that had gained sentience. They existed in the space between dimensions, feeding on the very fabric of reality. Conventional weapons and tactics were useless against them. "So how exactly are we supposed to fight these things?" Jack asked during a briefing, his voice tinged with frustration. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the team's theoretical physicist, stepped forward. "The Council believes that our unique cognitive abilities, our capacity for lateral thinking, and our predatory instincts might allow us to perceive weaknesses in the Void Eaters that they can't." Jack nodded, still skeptical but willing to trust in humanity's potential. As the days passed, the team honed their skills and prepared for the unknown. They studied the advanced technology provided by the Council, marveling at devices that seemed to defy the laws of physics as they understood them. Finally, the day of departure arrived. A sleek alien ship descended from the skies, its design unlike anything ever seen on Earth. As the team prepared to board, They were met by Alara, the Arcturian representative to the Galactic Council. Alara's appearance: tall, slender, with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer with its own inner light, caused a stir among the humans, but it was her words that truly made an impact. On behalf of the Galactic Council and all sentient beings in our galaxy, I thank you for your courage, she said, her voice melodious and alien. You are our last hope against the darkness that threatens to consume us all. As the human team boarded the ship, a mix of emotions swirled through them. Excitement at the adventure ahead, fear of the unknown, and a deep sense of responsibility for the fate of not just their own world, but countless others. The ship's engines hummed to life, a sound unlike any Earth technology. As it rose into the sky, becoming a diminishing point of light, humanity held its collective breath. Their representatives were venturing into the cosmos not as explorers or conquerors, but as saviors. In the command center of the alien ship, Jack Harper stood beside Alara, watching as Earth grew smaller in the view screen. So, he said, breaking the silence, tell me more about these Void Eaters. What are we really up against? Alara's luminescent skin pulsed with what Jack interpreted as concern. The Void Eaters are unlike anything you've encountered, she explained. They exist partially in our dimension, and partially outside of it. They feed on energy, all forms of energy, including the energy that binds matter together. Jack whistled low. So when you say they eat worlds, we mean it literally, Alara finished. They consume everything, planets, stars, even the space between them. And they're growing stronger with each passing moment. As the ship accelerated to speeds beyond human comprehension, Jack felt the weight of their mission settle on his shoulders. Humanity had been thrust onto a cosmic stage, facing a threat beyond imagination. But as he looked around at his team, the best Earth had to offer, he felt a glimmer of hope. Well, he said, a grim smile playing on his lips, I've always enjoyed a challenge. Let's show the galaxy what humans can do. As the ship disappeared into the depths of space, Earth continued its quiet rotation, its inhabitants unaware that their fate, and the fate of the entire galaxy, now rested in the hands of a small group of their own. The greatest adventure in human history had begun, and the universe would never be the same. Operation Cosmic Salvation. The journey to the front lines of the cosmic conflict was a crash course in galactic politics and advanced technology for the human team. As their ship traversed vast distances through folded space, Alara and other alien representatives briefed them on the complexities of their mission. Dr. Elena Rodriguez found herself immersed in a linguistic challenge beyond her wildest dreams, learning to communicate with a myriad of species. Captain Jack Harper and his military contingent spent hours in holographic simulations, trying to grasp the nature of their ethereal enemy. Dr. Yuki Tanaka worked tirelessly with alien scientists, attempting to merge human theoretical physics with the advanced science of the Galactic Council. The gap in knowledge was staggering, but the human capacity for learning and adaptation impressed their alien counterparts. Your species learns at an astonishing rate, remarked Zach 7, the cybernetic entity, its voice a harmonious blend of tones. We estimated it would take you years to grasp these concepts. You've done it in weeks. Jack grinned, an expression that still unnerved some of the alien species. Well, when the fate of the galaxy is at stake, you tend to cram pretty hard. As they approached the conflict zone, the mood on the ship grew tense. Through the view screens, they could see the devastation wrought by the Void Eaters. Entire star systems lay dark and lifeless, their energy completely drained. By the stars, Elena whispered, her face pale. How do we fight something capable of this? It was Grok, the fungoid symbiote elder, who answered. With the qualities that make you uniquely human, your adaptability, your creativity, and yes, your capacity for violence when needed. The human team exchanged glances. They had been chosen for their skills, but also for their ability to think unconventionally. Now, faced with the reality of their enemy, they realized just how much rode on their human perspective. Their ship docked with a massive space station serving as the command center for the Galactic Defense Forces. As they disembarked, the humans found themselves at the center of attention. Species from across the galaxy watched them with a mixture of hope and skepticism. In the command center, a holographic display showed the current state of the conflict. The Void Eaters appeared as a writhing mass of darkness, consuming everything in their path. Our current defenses can only slow them down, Alara explained. We need a way to stop them completely, or better yet, drive them back to whatever dimension they came from. Jack studied the display intently. Have you tried attacking them with matter from our dimension? If they exist partially outside our reality, maybe fully physical weapons could harm them. The alien commanders looked at each other in surprise. It was such a simple idea, yet in their fear of the Void Eaters' ability to consume energy, they hadn't considered purely physical attacks. An intriguing suggestion, Zach 7 commented. We shall run simulations immediately. As the days passed, the human team worked closely with their alien counterparts, offering fresh perspectives and innovative ideas. Dr. Tanaka proposed using the theory of quantum entanglement to attack the Void Eaters across multiple dimensions simultaneously. Elena suggested using complex linguistic algorithms to attempt communication with the entities, on the off chance they could be reasoned with. But it was a simple observation from Private Sarah Chen, a young Marine with a background in geology, that provided the breakthrough they needed. These Void Eaters, she said during a strategy meeting, they consume energy, right? But they leave behind the physical matter. What if we could use that leftover matter against them? The room fell silent as the implications of her idea sank in. The dead planets and stars left in the wake of the Void Eaters were not just debris. They were potential weapons. If we could find a way to energize that matter quickly, Dr. Tanaka mused, we could create a feedback loop. The Void Eaters would be forced to consume their own energy signature. The alien scientists were astounded. It was a solution so elegantly simple, yet so fundamentally tied to the human understanding of resource utilization, that it had eluded them entirely. With renewed hope, the combined forces of the galaxy set to work on Operation Cosmic Salvation. Massive ships were retrofitted to collect and energize the cosmic debris left behind by the Void Eaters. Weapons were designed to launch this re-energized matter directly into the heart of the cosmic anomalies. As the preparations neared completion, Captain Harper addressed the assembled fleet, a mix of human and alien forces united against a common threat. We stand here today, not as separate species, but as defenders of life itself, he began, his words translated into dozens of alien languages. The Void Eaters thought they could consume our galaxy piece by piece, but they didn't count on one thing: the indomitable spirit of life, and the lengths we'll go to preserve it. A cheer went up from the assembled forces, a cacophony of sounds that represented the unified determination of the galaxy. As the fleet prepared to engage the Void Eaters, Jack turned to Alara. You know, he said with a wry smile, when I joined the Marines, I never imagined I'd end up leading a charge to save the galaxy. Alara's skin pulsed with what Jack had learned was amusement. And we never imagined our salvation would come in the form of a species that still fights over lines drawn on the surface of their own planet. The universe, it seems, has a sense of humor. With a final check of their systems, the fleet moved out. Operation Cosmic Salvation was underway. As they approached the roiling darkness of the Void Eaters, every being in the fleet, human and alien alike, knew that the next few hours would determine the fate of not just their own worlds, but of all worlds for all time. The battle for the galaxy was about to begin, and humanity was leading the charge, the battle for survival. The combined fleet of the Galactic Council approached the writhing mass of darkness that was the Void Eaters. From the bridge of the flagship, Captain Jack Harper watched as the enemy came into view. The Void Eaters defied easy description. They were like living black holes, distorting the very fabric of space around them. All ships, report in, Jack ordered, his voice steady despite the tension coursing through him. One by one, The ships of the fleet sounded off, a symphony of alien voices united in purpose. "Remember the plan," Jack continued. "Bait and trap. We need to lure them towards the energized matter. Don't engage directly unless absolutely necessary." The fleet split into formations, each group tasked with herding a portion of the Void Eaters towards the trap. Jack's ship, along with several alien vessels, formed the vanguard of the attack. "Here we go," Jack muttered. "Fire the lures." Brilliant beams of energy shot forth from the ships, a tempting feast for the energy-hungry Void Eaters. As predicted, the cosmic anomalies turned towards the energy signatures, drawn by the promise of sustenance. For a moment, it seemed like the plan was working perfectly. Then, without warning, a tendril of darkness lashed out, enveloping one of the alien ships. In seconds, the ship's energy was drained, leaving it a lifeless husk drifting in space. "Evasive maneuvers," Jack shouted. "Don't let them touch you." The fleet scattered, narrowly avoiding the grasping tendrils of the Void Eaters. But the enemy was learning, adapting to their tactics with frightening speed. In the science bay of Jack's ship, Dr. Yuki Tanaka worked feverishly with her alien counterparts. "The Void Eaters are evolving," she reported, her voice tense. "They're becoming more efficient at energy absorption. Our current plan won't work for long." Jack gritted his teeth. They needed a new strategy, and fast. "Elena," he called out to the xenolinguist. "Any luck communicating with these things?" Dr. Rodriguez shook her head, frustration evident on her face. "Nothing concrete, but there's something. It's like they're speaking in pure mathematics. I need more time to decipher it." Time was the one thing they didn't have. The Void Eaters were pressing their advantage, their dark mass expanding as they consumed more energy from the surrounding space. Suddenly, Private Chen's voice cut through the chaos. "Captain, I have an idea." Jack turned to the young Marine, hope flaring in his chest. "I'm all ears, Private. The Void Eaters, they're like black holes, right? What if we could create a massive gravitational pull to trap them? We could use the dead planets they've left behind." Jack's mind raced, seeing the potential in Chen's plan. "Yuki, is it possible?" Dr. Tanaka's fingers flew over her console as she ran calculations. "Theoretically, yes. If we could align enough dead planets and energize them simultaneously, the combined gravitational pull might be enough to trap the Void Eaters." "Do it," Jack ordered. "All ships, new plan. We need to move those dead planets. Use tractor beams, gravity manipulators, whatever you've got. Form them into a ring around the Void Eaters." The next hours were a frenzy of activity. Ships darted back and forth, positioning the husks of dead worlds into a massive circle. It was a testament to the cooperation between species that such a complex maneuver could be executed in the heat of battle. As the trap was prepared, the rest of the fleet continued to distract the Void Eaters, paying a heavy price with each passing minute. Ships were lost, brave beings from a dozen worlds sacrificing themselves to buy time. Finally, the ring of dead planets was in position. "Now," Jack shouted, "hit them with everything we've got." Every ship in the fleet fired at once, pouring energy into the dead planets. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly at first, but with gathering speed, the planets began to glow. The Void Eaters, sensing the surge of energy, turned towards the new feast. But as they approached the ring of planets, something unexpected happened. The gravitational forces began to warp space itself, creating a swirling vortex that pulled at the cosmic anomalies. "It's working," Yuki exclaimed. "The gravitational pull is too strong for them to resist." The Void Eaters writhed and twisted, trying to escape the trap. But the more they struggled, the stronger the gravitational pull became. Slowly, inexorably, they were drawn into the center of the planetary ring. As the last of the Void Eaters was pulled in, Dr. Rodriguez's console lit up. "Captain, I'm receiving the signal. I think it's from the Void Eaters." "What does it say?" Jack asked, not taking his eyes off the swirling vortex before them. Alina's voice was filled with awe as she translated. It's of equation, the fundamental formula for their existence, and instructions for closing the dimensional rift they came through. Jack turned to Yuki. Can we do it? Can we close the rift? The physicist nodded, her eyes shining with the thrill of discovery. With this equation, yes, we can end this once and for all. As the combined intellect of a dozen species worked to implement the final solution, Jack allowed himself a moment of reflection. Humanity, the newcomers to the galactic stage, had not only survived this trial by fire, but had proven instrumental in saving the galaxy. The rift closure process began, a dazzling display of energies that lit up the battlefield. Slowly, the swirling vortex of trapped void eaters began to shrink, collapsing in on itself. With a final, silent flash, the rift closed. The void eaters were gone, vanished back to whatever dimension they had come from. The battlefield fell quiet, the sudden absence of conflict almost deafening. Then, a cheer went up from the fleet. It started with the human ships but quickly spread to every vessel. Beings from across the galaxy celebrated together, united in their victory against an impossible foe. As the cheers washed over him, Jack felt a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. They had done it. Humanity had faced its first galactic-scale crisis and emerged victorious. But as he looked out at the devastation left in the wake of the battle, he knew that their journey was far from over. The galaxy would need to rebuild, and humanity would have a significant role to play in that future. The age of Earth's isolation was over. A new chapter in human history had begun, written among the stars. A new era of galactic cooperation. In the days following the defeat of the Void Eaters, the galaxy began the long process of healing and rebuilding. The human team, once viewed with skepticism and fear, now found themselves hailed as heroes across countless worlds. Captain Jack Harper stood before the Galactic Council, the weight of recent events visible in the lines on his face. Beside him stood Dr. Elena Rodriguez, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, and Private Sarah Chen, each representing the unique human qualities that had proven crucial in the battle against cosmic annihilation. Alara, the Arcturian representative, addressed the assembly. We stand here today, not just as survivors, but as beings united by a shared triumph over unimaginable odds. And we owe much of that triumph to our newest allies, the humans of Earth. A murmur of agreement rippled through the gathered representatives. Species that had once viewed humans as primitive now looked upon them with newfound respect and admiration. Jack stepped forward, his voice carrying across the chamber. On behalf of humanity, I thank you for the trust you placed in us. But our victory wasn't just about human ingenuity or bravery. It was about the strength we found in our differences, in the unique perspectives each species brought to the fight. He paused, his gaze sweeping across the diverse assembly. We came to you as unknowns, thrust into a conflict beyond our understanding. We leave as part of something greater, a galactic community united in its desire for peace and progress. The words resonated with the council. Many had feared that introducing a predatory species like humans to the galactic stage would lead to conflict. Instead, humanity had demonstrated a capacity for cooperation and selflessness that had surprised even their staunchest supporters. Zach 7, the cybernetic entity, spoke next. The human capacity for lateral thinking and adaptation has opened new avenues of scientific inquiry. Their unique neural pathways offer solutions we had not considered. I propose we establish a joint research initiative, combining the best minds from all our species. The proposal was met with enthusiastic approval. Grok, the fungoid symbiote elder, added his own suggestion. We should also consider establishing a permanent human presence on the council. Their perspective could prove invaluable in future crises. As the council debated the details of humanity's integration into the galactic community, Elena found herself deep in conversation with a group of alien linguists. The mathematical language of the Void Eaters had opened up new possibilities in universal translation, and Elena was at the forefront of this exciting field. Yuki, meanwhile, was surrounded by scientists from a dozen worlds, all eager to explore the implications of the dimensional rift technology. The potential for faster-than-light travel and energy production was staggering, promising to revolutionize life across the galaxy. Even Sarah Chen, the young Marine whose simple observation had led to the decisive strategy against the Void Eaters, found herself being courted by various alien military organizations. Her ability to think unconventionally in the face of overwhelming odds was a trait many sought to understand and cultivate. As the discussions wound down, Jack found a quiet moment with Alara. The Arcturian's bioluminescence pulsed with a warm glow that Jack had come to recognize as friendship. "So," Jack said with a wry smile, "what's next for humanity in this brave new galactic society?" Alara's response was thoughtful. "Your species has proven itself beyond our wildest expectations, Jack, but this is just the beginning. The galaxy is vast, filled with wonders and dangers we've yet to imagine. Humanity's journey among the stars is only just beginning." Jack nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. "It won't be easy," he mused. "There's still so much we don't understand, so much we need to learn." "True," Alara agreed. "But if recent events have shown us anything, it's that the human capacity for learning and growth is remarkable. You may be newcomers to the galactic stage, but I believe you will play a crucial role in shaping our shared future." As they spoke, the council chamber buzzed with activity. Plans were being made for cultural exchange programs, scientific collaborations, and joint defense initiatives. The galaxy was changing, adapting to the presence of its newest members with an enthusiasm that would have been unthinkable mere months ago. Back on Earth, news of the victory over the Void Eaters and humanity's new place in the galactic community was met with a mix of excitement, pride, and trepidation. The world's governments scrambled to adapt to this new reality, knowing that every decision they made now would have far-reaching consequences. Schools began incorporating alien languages and cultures into their curricula. Scientists pored over the wealth of knowledge shared by their galactic counterparts, and in every corner of the globe, people looked to the stars with a new sense of wonder and possibility. As the human team prepared for their return journey to Earth, Jack took one last look at the sprawling galactic capital. So much had changed in so little time. Humanity had ventured into the cosmos not as conquerors or supplicants, but as saviors and equals. They had faced the ultimate test and emerged stronger for it. The ship's engines hummed to life, a sound that now felt familiar and almost comforting. As they lifted off, Jack thought about the future that lay ahead. There would be challenges, certainly. Misunderstandings to navigate, prejudices to overcome, and new threats to face. But there would also be wonders beyond imagination. Friendships that spanned the stars, and opportunities to grow in ways their ancestors could never have dreamed of. Humanity's place was no longer confined to a single blue planet orbiting an unremarkable star. Their home was now the galaxy itself, vast and full of potential. And as their ship accelerated towards Earth, carrying with it the promise of a new age, Jack Harper smiled. The greatest adventure in human history wasn't ending.